So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. Okay, Rockstar Nation, we have a great guest today. Kellie Revoir from Springfield, Missouri is on the line, and she is making waves out there, and we are going to find out what she is doing, and I am excited about this interview. So, Kellie, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Hey, Kellie, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you better?
Okay. I have been an agent since 2013. My mother was an agent. She's been an agent since 2006 and became the #1 agent at her brokerage company. So I teamed up with her, and from there we just flew up and grew a team, and we're super excited about that. My personal life, I'm a single mom of 2 little boys. They're 9 and 10.
Oh, that's awesome. So how long have you been in the biz?
2013, 4 years.
Okay.
My dad's a builder. He's been a builder since the early 80s. So I've been in real estate all my life.
Okay. And how about your mom? Like, how long did she have the team, or how long was she an agent?
She was a solo agent from 2006 up until I joined her in 2013.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You know, you see this older generation of realtors, right? They're solo, and then their kids come in and they're like, no, you need to leverage, right? And it happens all the time.
I'm the risk taker. She's the safe one. So
how's she liking it so far?
She loves it. She's glad that she did it. We make a good partnership because we're 2 polar opposite people. So she calms me down and I fire her up, and it works well.
That's awesome, man. That's great. You won't regret that. I mean, that's a cool way to go. All right, cool. So let's talk about some nitty gritty. So like, what was your ECI last year, your ego commission income for the team?
It was almost 500,000. We like 498,000. Now you got to remember too, I'm in Springfield, Missouri. So our average price point here is $150,000 home.
150 is the average. Okay. So how many houses did you have to sell to get
112 is what we sold last year.
112. Okay, cool. And then when your mom was on her own, like, how many was she selling?
She was selling, well, I think she quickly became the #1 agent at a brokerage company. I really don't know how many she was selling before I joined. I know her year that I joined, she sold 4.3 million. So I've never done the math.
Well, if you divided that by, 1.5, right? That or 150,000 goes into a million. Let's see, 6 times roughly. So, 24. So she sold about 30, maybe 25 to 30 houses. So that makes sense, right? 2.5 a month. And now you're doing over 100. Yep. So what's your profit margin look like on that?
Boy, that's a really tough question, Pat. I don't know the answer to that. I know that we make a healthy living, but I don't know exactly what my profit margin is on that. I can tell you ROIs, I can tell you percentages of where we get all of our income from, but I don't know exactly the profit margin.
No problem. Were you working before you took over 4 years ago?
Yeah, I was working a corporate job. I have 2 college degrees, one in business and one in accounting. And I was working a corporate job Monday through Friday. I got really burned out on it and took 6 months off. And then she convinced me to do this whole real estate thing. And I was kicking and screaming and didn't want to do it. And it's absolutely the best decision I've ever made.
And so you're making a lot more money and you're having a lot more fun. And I guess that's all that counts, right?
Yeah.
And you get to work with your mom.
And I get to work with my mom and my dad because he's a builder and my brother works for him. So we're one big family business.
Real estate family.
Yes.
So tell me about your business. Like, you've been growing for 4 years.
Yep.
Now, when you got in, did you start selling yourself right away, or how did it happen? Take me through the progress of the last 4 years.
Okay, so when I jumped in, I was only supposed to help her with her paperwork because I have a business degree, and One thing led to another. She started buying leads on Zillow. She was maybe spending $200 or $300 a month. It wasn't much at all. We split everything 50-50. So the first 2 years, I would say, obviously, most of the transactions came from her and her sphere, and I just did a little bit. But as the years progressed, we evened out, and I would say right now we both do about 50-50% of the work. So we bought some leads, went through Zillow, became successful. We hired our first admin probably about 2 years ago. We've gone through 3 admins since then, and we have a rock star right now. So we're really happy with our admin girl now. We got our first buyer's agent maybe a year ago. That didn't last very long. Had another buyer's agent. We've gone through 3 until in August of last year was when we finally got an actual team that we could actually call ourselves a team. And we've just grown significantly since August, it might have been June or July of last year. We now have 7 buyer's agents and 1 admin, and her and I.
Wow. So, for 2 years almost, right? You pretty much went through hell, right? Had, people flipping out and leaving or whatever. You went through a team one by one. What lessons did you learn about team building?
Oh boy, I could really go through those. Well, the admin person, I would say the biggest lesson is we really needed to find somebody that was capable of working autonomously. So, obviously as an agent, we don't want to be in the office. You can't have somebody that requires you to babysit them. It's just not feasible. It's not what you're looking for. So I needed to find an admin that was self-directed. I used the disc profile to finally find ours, and we weeded a lot of them out. I learned do not hire friends because that will never turn out right. And through buyer's agents, we needed to find somebody that was motivated. There's a lot of gurus out there that suggested we find somebody that's experienced because they understand that when you give them leads, how valuable that is. But I also found that if they were 3 or 4 years in the business, and this isn't a testimony to everybody, but it wasn't working for them because they weren't motivated. They were finding all sorts of reasons not to work and not to make their phone calls. And they had the perception of mediocrity. Whereas if I got brand new agents in, they didn't know any better. They thought their first year out of the gate, they could earn 6 figures. And so they were ready to go. They were ready to make those calls. They weren't afraid of rejection because they saw this huge picture that we could paint for them, and they hadn't been tainted by past experiences.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Wow, interesting, very interesting. So how are you handling it now, right? Because all of a sudden you have 7.
Yeah. So 3 of them just started the 1st of January. So we're 11 days in. So, but 4 of them started, we've kind of gotten those over the last probably 6 months, but challenging isn't the right word, but it's definitely been a learning experience. A lot of the training that we used to do, we no longer do because you just find find things that you just assume that people know, and then you get burned once and realize that needs to be added in. We do have trainings that our team does the last 2 weeks of every month. We do a training Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 1. And so we have onboard training, lead gen training, scripts training, of course your MLS and CRM training. So we do 6 classes of trainings, plus every week we have a training for our entire team every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And then in the morning we do daily huddles. And that was something that we just recently started in August. We started a daily huddle at 8:30 in the morning. Every single agent needs to call in to a conference line. We only talk for 30 minutes and we hold them accountable. And I would say that dramatically changed our team, that weeded out the people that were not interested whatsoever to be held accountable. And it changed the culture of our team.
What and so like, give me an idea of like, let's say I'm one of your agents, right? And I'm calling. What is expected out of me?
Well, we really want to know how many phone calls that you made yesterday. We want to know how many people did you talk to, how many appointments did you set, how many appointments did you attend, how many contracts did you write up, and how many closings did you have. And then from there, and we do that for every single agent. And that really helps us when we do our one-on-one training. That helps me to figure out if you spoke to 25 people but you didn't set any appointments. Now I understand we need to work on the conversion from speaking to somebody to setting an appointment. And there's a different conversion for that than there is if you made an appointment with 10 people last week, but you didn't write up a single contract. Now I know that the conversion is, we need to focus on that whenever we're meeting one-on-one. And for me, I'm a high D, so it was difficult for me to train somebody because I am so driven that if I don't know the answer, I just go out and find it. And most people aren't like that. So I've had to retrain my own thinking to realize that they need to be trained, they need to be mentored, because that is literally you get your biggest ROI by really putting into your team and showing them value and giving them love and mentorship. And that's how you're going to be successful on the end. And I didn't understand that at first.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating. Great advice. Great advice. So what sort of technology are you using to keep everything together?
Well, our CRM is Follow Up Boss.
Follow Up Boss. Okay.
Follow Up Boss. Our lead gen, we use Zillow, ZBuyer, YLOPO, and those all follow into Follow Up Boss.
So talk to me about ZBuyer.
In our area, we have not had a ton of luck with it, but I know people from other areas.
What is it?
It's, how you see those signs that say "We buy ugly houses"?
Yes.
So you enter in your information there, and it goes to this ZBuyer database, and then you call them and you meet with them to say that you're an investor. And a lot of times you are. As real estate agents, we buy a lot of investment property, and then you go to their place and you offer them something. If they're not interested in that, then you can offer to list their house.
Okay. So wait a minute. So this is all part of the We Buy Ugly Houses company?
Well, there's a lot of different ones, but it's
but ZBuyer is taking these leads. Are they getting the leads themselves, or are they getting them from, these other companies?
No, they get them from, they do advertising that's similar to the whole We Buy Ugly Houses. I don't know their exact advertising.
They do the ads, then they create a database of buyers. And do you have to pay them money to access this?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, you do it per county.
Huh, that's interesting. I have to check that out. Okay. And what else? What was the third one you said?
YLOPO?
Yeah, tell me about that.
So Howard Tager, he used to own Tiger Leads, and then he sold Tiger Leads, and I think he had to take 2 years to step away from it due to a non-compete. And he spent that 2 years perfecting YLOPO, which is monopoly, the last 6 letters of monopoly spelled backwards.
The last 6 letters of monopoly spelled backwards. Okay.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
The last 5.
Okay.
And he came up with YLOPO. And they do a lot of Facebook advertising and Google advertising. Most of it comes off of Facebook. They create your ads for you. And then if you see a page with the house, then you click on the house saying that you want to see more pictures of the house. And then after like 3 pictures, you have to register on the site. And then that comes into my CRM.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then the CRM is, can you put your own leads in the CRM?
Yeah, it's so they actually use, instead of having their own CRM, they actually use Follow Up Boss. Those two partner up.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. All right, awesome. Awesome. Very cool. All right. So tell me about like a failure you've had in the last 4 years since you've taken over the team and tried to grow it, and or in your business per se, you know, working with a buyer seller, where you learned a really valuable lesson.
Well, when it comes to buyers and sellers, so as a single mom, I don't have anybody to help me when I have appointments and the times I have my kids. And I learned really early on, as much as it stinks to say this, that my kids were appointments. I lost a client. I'd spent all weekend with her over Memorial Weekend, woke up early, was out late, had to find somebody to watch my kids Saturday and Sunday. She wanted to go see houses on Monday, and I told her no, I hadn't seen my kids all weekend. And when you only get your kids half the time, I really value that time. I said I needed to spend time with my kids, and she subsequently fired me, which just infuriated me. So from that point on, I learned that instead of saying that I needed to go to a kid's soccer game or Boy Scouts or whatever, I needed to call it an appointment. I have found that clients are much more receptive when you have another appointment versus when you have a family time. So I also shut my phone off. I do not answer it when we're sitting down to dinner. You know, I had to set boundaries. And my first year in real estate, I was running ragged. I was working way too many hours. My family, you know, my boys were really, they were getting the brunt end of what I was trying to create, and it burned me, and I was not happy. I felt like I was not being very successful, and I was being a terrible mother. So it took, you know, it took that hard time for me to set some boundaries and not answer the call, and realize that if an agent, or not an agent, but if a client doesn't respect my time, then I don't want them as clients anyways. And since then, I've fired clients for their disrespect or their lack of
You know, what you say is a lot of truth, right? You know, people always respect, you know, another appointment, but it's just so rude that they don't respect, you know, family time, right? I mean, like, who does that, right? I mean, it's just terrible. But, and I guess that's probably a motivation for you too, to leverage yourself through a team, because at that point you could be like, well, listen, I've got another appointment, but you know, Marcy can take care of you.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's really what kind of brought us into the whole team thing. We realized how well it worked for my mother and I, because if one of us wasn't available, the other one almost always was. And we saw 1 + 1 does not equal 2 when you've got a strong partner.
1 + 1 does not equal 2.
Yeah, meaning.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the income that we made collectively was so much more than the income that I wouldn't have been able to make 50% of what I made, because the two of us combined were a much, much stronger person than just one or the other. You know, it would have been impossible. I feel like when you partner for performance and you find that right partner to coincide with or do co-work with, the two of you together are going to be so much stronger than each individually.
And like, how do you guys break it up? Like, how do you decide who does what? And, you know, is everybody different? Every client different? Or do you have certain things you do and certain things your mom does?
Yeah, so she likes buyers better than I do. She's got a lot more patience. That's the mothering part of her and my high need personality. I definitely prefer sellers. I can get a seller to lower a price and have an open house and be excited about it and think it's their idea, you know. So I'm really good at that, and she's not very good at that. So that works well for us. What we do now, and it's pretty much whoever is available on those last minute appointments. We used to attend listing appointments together, and we've gotten out of that now. We don't attend them together. It's pretty much whoever has the time and the capability to do it, because we're both very great at getting listing appointments. For buyers, if it's her sphere of influence, then she works with them. Or if it's a referral that they got from her sphere of influence, she works with them, and then the same goes for me. If it's somebody that neither one of us know, we hand it out to our buyer's agents.
That's interesting. Okay. So, I like how, you know, you guys are able to work so well as mother and daughter, and you understand each other and that sort of thing. And does anyone on the team feel like they're keeping all the good stuff for themselves, or if the mom's going to give it to the daughter, or the daughter's going to give it to the mom, they're not going to give it to us as far as leads are concerned? Do you have that, or do you just have an understanding? I mean, how do you handle that?
So when we very first started on a team, we did a round robin thing. So even if I got a $350,000 house, and one of my mom got a $50,000 house, we just did a round robin, and it went great that way. Now that we have grown so much, Linda and I we are not on any of our lead generation systems. So every buyer's lead goes to our team. And then seller leads, that goes to Linda and I all the time. They don't, as a buyer.
Linda's your mom, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No problem. It's all good. Okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. And they know going in at 100%. So, you know, the most expensive buyer that comes in could go to any of them, right?
Yep, exactly. We don't take them. The only thing that we take is a sphere of influence that has contacted us directly, or somebody that was referred directly to us.
Now, what about these new agents, right? Like, you got 3 new agents. You're going to put them in the round robin. What if they blow a deal?
Now, it's to be expected. Everybody, I think.
You just you know, everyone's got to get their head kicked in that. And that's right. That's how you learn, right?
I was not, I mean, she threw me into the fire, and it was literally sink or swim. And I think that's the best way to learn anything. I don't remember the author. There's a book called Mockery with Your Hair on Fire. And it's just basically go in there and do it. You're going to fail, but you need to fail forward. And I'm really big on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Kelly, let's wrap this up with our flagship question. And that is this: if I took you and I put you on an island, but that island has people on it, and they're buying and selling houses, they're making money, right? And I also put 9 other agents on that island, and I gave each agent $1,000. I gave them a laptop, computer, and a cell phone. And I said, listen, you guys go out there. You don't know anybody. Nobody knows anybody. You need to sell more houses than the 9 other agents. Whoever sells the most houses after 6 months gets $5 million. How is Kelly going to win this show?
Easy. You just love on your clients. You give them.
You don't have any clients.
Well, love on the people that you're meeting.
You're just going to walk down the street and hug people, or?
It's not what I mean by love. That's creepy. That's just creepy. Buy them coffee, buy them lunch, have a happy hour where you invite everybody in the town and have them come and meet with you. Network, network, network. And if you constantly bring value, you constantly love on them, not physically, but
I get you.
Flag. If you constantly give them something without the expectation of reciprocity, your business will absolutely flourish.
Wow. And you're just going to do that. You're going to spend the money one coffee at a time and just meet people, socialize with them, hand out business cards, and just let the business grow.
Yep. I mean, if there is okay, so I just said to you something about Mockery with Your Hair on Fire. It's a book. If they mention, I've never heard of that book, I wonder what it's about, you can bet I'm going to go out and buy that book for them and bring it to them, hand deliver it to them.
Yeah.
If they've got a birthday coming up, I'm going to make sure that I'll send them a little video text telling them happy birthday. Not mention my business at all.
Right. Right. Expect nothing in return, right?
Give without the expectation of reciprocity. That is exactly how you're going to grow your business.
That's awesome. Beautiful. Well, beautiful advice. Kelly, this has been fun. The best of luck to you in Missouri. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. And if I'm ever down that area, I will look you up. We can break some bread.
Absolutely, Pat. I'd love it.
Have a good day.
Dude, thank you.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Rockstars. Please give us a review wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. We eat feedback for breakfast. And I don't care whether you give me a 1-star review or a 5-star review. I just want the review. I want to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Would love to improve things. Hey, and listen, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get and the more reviews we get, the better guests we'll get for you in the future. Feel free to reach out to me anywhere on social media. Just type in my name. I'm everywhere, and I look forward to meeting you in the digital world. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to Real Estate Rockstars.